All right, so sneaky tricks. Y'all want some sneaky tricks? Oh, yeah, since we had some people come in late after I said it, the handouts, the link for the handouts, drivingtraffic.com/RyanHandouts.pdf. That is the link. It's just not there yet, okay? I literally thought I should create a page and put it up there as I was walking up, and I wrote it down over there. I haven't had a chance to put them up, so they will be there. It's Sunday today, so my guys at work, they may be up there tomorrow. I apologize for the delay. I should have thought of it sooner. All right, sneaky tricks. And these are just going to be rapid-fire conversion boosters. Take note of these. Remember, you're going to get these handouts, so don't freak out if I move a little bit fast. How many of you guys have blogs and do opt-ins on your blogs? Okay, this is one of the cool things that we've done. My buddy Dean Hunt was the first one to tell me about it. It's called a bottom-up pop-up. When somebody goes to your page, a little pop-up appears from the bottom. Much better than having an opt-in form embedded on the right-hand side. It doesn't mean you don't do that. You should just do this in addition to. Basically, all of Dean's opt-ins come from that pop-up. Almost none of them come. You see on the right-hand side where it says subscribe. Granted, that's one of the suckiest opt-in offers I've ever seen in my life. It's a fanged, rabbit holding a sign that says subscribe. Like, all right, that might have worked in 1998, but even still, the bottom up is good. Here's software that does it, instantslideup.com. Instantslideup.com. No, that's not an affiliate link. Check it out, instantslideup.com. A really cool idea. If you have a popular blog post, embed an opt-in form in your actual blog post. Okay, if you're getting a blog post that's getting a lot of things, embed an opt-in form in your actual blog post, but don't leave it there forever. If every single one of your blog posts has an opt-in form in it, you start to look like a chucklehead. All right, remember the phrase we were talking about before? That would make you a chucklehead if you were wondering what a chucklehead was. So don't do that. Take it away. You can maybe replace it with a link that goes somewhere else, but embedding opt-in forms in popular blog posts is a great way to get a nice surge of opt-ins, especially if one of them goes viral. I talked about the video fake out that bumped opt-in rates up to 48%. Basically, you have a screenshot, okay, a screenshot of a video on your page that they're going to receive after they opt in, and you make it to where, because you see it's got the play button, if they click the play button, it doesn't play. Instead, it says, this one says, whoa, easy there, trigger. Enter your email address in the box right under the arrows and click the button that says free instant access to watch the videos. So it's another call to action that they trigger. So when they click the button to try to watch the video, it says, nope, you got to opt in to watch the video. A little bit annoying, especially after you've seen it for the 5,000th time, but it works really well. And again, in this particular case, continuityblueprint.com/publisher.html. If you want to see this page and rip off the thing, that product is not for sale, Bill, so don't worry, I'm not trying to do any. So continuityblueprint.com/publisher.html if you want to go to that page, have your tech person do a view source, and steal the JavaScript code that makes that work. It's like 3 lines of code. Really simple. Subtle arrows. Subtle arrows that draw the eye to opt-in forms. See, there's one there. There's one there. These have been shown to increase rates as well because they define iPath. Okay? We're lemmings, guys. You're going to realize that. We're like, I mean, we don't think for ourselves. I think it's one of the ways that we keep from going insane because we get hit with so much information. So anything that makes it simpler, we're buying in. Here's another example, subtle arrow. These not so subtle arrows, but arrows nonetheless. Speaking of that last page, cartoon calls to action. We tested this. This is every now and then you do a split test that you hope doesn't work because it is so weird and cheesy. And in this case, we tested one of these videos right here. You see the little cartoon video? You go to sitepal.com and you can create a cartoon version of yourself. You record an audio of you talking and it basically matches the mouth. So there's cartoon you, or it could be, you could do a cartoon, it could be a hot dog up there talking. And we actually did have a cartoon hot dog at one point talking about stuff. It didn't work. It didn't convert with a crap, but it was funny. Sitepal.com. S as in Sam, ITEPAL.com. Sitepal.com. This one you guys might find interesting. We did a little test because pretty much everybody, when they're collecting email addresses, asks for first name and email address. And what I realized is we weren't really using the first name field. Because when you're sending emails out to your list, if every email's like, hi, Ryan, hey, Ted. I mean, people are onto that. They're onto the fact that, okay, you can get my email address and you can put my name, up there. They get the mail merging, email merging thing. They don't think it's personal anymore, at least in more sophisticated markets. And if you think about how when you email your friends, you're not like, hey, Bob. You might be like, what's up? What's up, turd licker? I mean, you might say something like that, but, probably you're just going to be like, hey, you're just going to start typing, right? If it's a more informal thing, we don't have the greeting anymore. So we weren't really using the first name field. So what I did is I said, what would happen if we dropped the first name field and just asked for email address? It wasn't a huge bump in opt-ins, but any bump is better than no bump when you're not using the data. We saw an increase on one up to 18%. So test dropping that first name field and just collect an email address and see what it does. This is a pretty good idea if you're selling a product. Certainly if you're selling a product via a video sales letter. We do a lot of that. They work really, really well from a conversion rate, but still the bailout is quite high because people don't feel like they can, they may not want to sit there. So what we'll offer folks when they leave, we'll pop up a, we'll pop up a little window and you go, I think popupdomination.com will do this. But we'll just pop up a window that says, hey, you can't really read it, but it says, start your training right now for free. And you can see see how it says module 1 of the video? Again, it makes it look like if they click that they can just start watching module 1. But if they click it, it says, whoa, there, trigger. Opt in to watch module 1. So we're collecting leads on exit by allowing them to kind of preview the content. And really what we're doing is they're watching a little piece of it. Because a good principle to follow when creating any of your products, the first chapter, if it's a book, or the first module, if it's an audio or a video, really should resell the concept. It's a good stick strategy. It's a good reminder. But you can also use it in this capacity to sell the concept. In this case, you're not reselling it. So you have the first part that resells the concept, and then you kind of cut in a call to action. Go to this page right here to buy. Affiliates, sometimes they don't want to send traffic straight to opt-in forms, so collecting opt-ins on exit is a good way to do it. For this particular offer, we collected 14,891 subscribers from people who were leaving the page that opted into that right there from affiliates. So those would have been people that just would have come, and that list does not include people that bought, because if they buy, we remove them from that list. So the list was a lot higher, but through follow-up, we convert a lot of them into customers. So think about, if you're doing a direct sale, collecting the lead on exit. The invisible opt-in. How many of you guys have been to one of my sites or somebody else's sites and seen a video sales letter where there is no order button? It appears after the fact. Y'all seen that? Works amazingly well for offers. It also works really well for opt-in pages. If you send somebody to a video and there's no opt-in page, you don't need to let it run for too long, and then all of a sudden, boom, that thing pops up. The novelty of like, where the heck did this come from? Like, if they're there for more than a minute or two, pretty much everybody opts in. I mean, it's like 90% of the people who go to this page wind up filling that in, if they're there for more than a minute or so. And it's a hidden buy button script. You could do a search in Google for hidden buy button script and stuff like that. There's some of them out there. Some people selling them, some people giving them away for free. It's, again, basically just a little JavaScript code that you say, after this many seconds, make this appear. So that's how that works. And yeah, in this case, it beat the static forms 3-to-1 to cold traffic. Again, especially in sophisticated markets. If you go to a web page and you see a little video there and you see an opt-in form, you know what's going on, right? I mean, you guys are mature. You know what's going on. If you go to a page and there's just a video and that's it, there's no way to take an action, your barriers drop a little bit. You think, oh, this is just content. It's like YouTube. Cool. And so you watch, and it's able to kind of get you drawn in a little bit more. Really cool tool. I talked about this before, pop-up domination. Again, this is not my tool. That is not an affiliate link. It's just something that we use. It creates some of the most beautiful pop-up lead capture forms that I've ever seen. And this guy is a student of mine. So a lot of the stuff that we tell you to do, in terms of having the subtle arrows and things like that, he already has built into this. So if you want a tool that can build you really nice looking email capture forms via pop-ups, this is a good tool. Again, I don't make any money promoting that. Not that I'd apologize if I did. I mean, it's a great tool. But that goes straight to the page. It's not an affiliate link or anything. How many of you guys blog? Who's got blogs out there? How many of you guys are capturing the email addresses of people when they leave a comment? Now, what do you think? If somebody goes to your site, reads a post and leaves a comment, is that a pretty valuable visitor? Would you like to know who those people are? This tool right here, optincomments.com, is a WordPress plugin that the way that it works, you go in, you install the plugin, and you go and you select what service you're using. So I use Aweber, iContact, One Shopping Cart. I think it even integrates with Infusion. And what it does is it adds another field to your comment box. So they enter their name, they enter their email address, and there's a little checkbox that says, subscribe me to the newsletter or send me something for free. And if they check that, then they get subscribed. They're basically opting in while they're filling out the comment box. Is that pretty cool? And I mean, do you get like 1,000 people a day? No, you only get the best people, the most active people, the people most excited about what you're doing. So we're talking about list segmentation and stuff like that. These are your hottest people. These are the people you're definitely going to want to follow up with. You're going to want to treat those folks like gold. PDF squeeze forms. How many of you guys know that you can have an opt-in form inside of a PDF document? Anybody? One of the coolest strategies. It's kind of a pain in the butt to do. And again, just Google opt-in form in PDF. There's stuff out there that'll show you how to do it. If you got a tech person, you know, they can show you how to do it. We did this for the perpetual traffic report, which is a report that I wrote leading up to a launch that I did. We knew that people would download the report and that they would just start passing it around. They wouldn't necessarily send their friends out there to do it. We also knew that it'd be put up on PDF sharing sites like Scribed and things like that. Those of you who know social media, you're familiar with that. So if this thing's going to go viral, if it's going to get out there, if people are going to pass it around without opting in, then I want to have an opportunity to get it. So we added this opt-in form right there on the first page. So when you download the report, it's, hey, if you want to get some other stuff, here you go. All they have to do is be on the internet for that form to work. So it's in a PDF environment. It's not like they're reading it on a web page. They download the PDF. It's right there in the form. Enter it. Boom. Very, very, very cool. We tracked, I think we got, I want to say like 9,000 something opt-ins from people passing around that form. 9,000 opt-ins. They're probably opt-ins we wouldn't have got otherwise. Along the same lines, software and plugin giveaways. If you can create a cool piece of software, and I realize that this is a little more advanced, it's not going to work for all markets, but if you come up with a cool software application, it doesn't have to be anything big, all right? It doesn't have to be that complicated. It just has to be something that somebody wants. And I recommend that you get it coded, write this down, in Adobe Air. Adobe Air, because Air is a Mac and PC cross-platform tool. All right? So we gave it away for free. It's a piece of software called Cherry Picker, and it's a market research tool. But the great thing is when you go to the website to get Cherry Picker, and this was fantastic for affiliates, because it was like, look, no opt-in required. Just send them to the page to download it. So they went, they clicked the link to download it, they could watch a video to learn more about it, they download it, they got it, right? Well, when they get it, they register. What's a registration process? Also called an opt-in form, right? So they went there, they registered into their first name, last name, email address. The beautiful thing about a registration form, you can ask for a whole lot more than that if you want it. If people want the software bad enough, they'll be like, you know, mother's maiden name, social security number, bank account information. I'm not suggesting it, but I mean, if people want something bad enough, they can do that. What did that say? Oh, yeah, so after they enter it, it just says, thank you so much for registering. Check your email address for your registration code. Also in that same email, we began the promotional process. So we sent them back to the inbox where they could click on something and then go back to a web page that we had. This generated 32,980 leads from that piece of software And that was as of, and it's still going. People are still downloading it every single day. Software has a really nice tail on it. So 32,000 leads, 32,000 leads generated. Really, really good. People love software. They absolutely love it. And again, it doesn't have to be complicated. You're not designing Microsoft, Office or anything like that. It just has to be some little application that people want. The simpler, the better. Facebook comments, this isn't so much a list building strategy directly as it is kind of a viral marketing strategy, but it worked really, really well. On all of our websites, we did a Facebook plugin where people can comment via Facebook. So I know this gets a little bit advanced and it gets a little bit social media-y, but if you go to, again, just Google Facebook comment plugin. If you got a Facebook account, you can go in there. It's just a little piece of code that you put on your website, and it generates this right here. Most people today, Facebook's got like 500 million users. Okay, it's got more users than the population of, I don't know, you've all heard the stats probably. A butt ton of people are using Facebook, and most of them are logged in at all times. So if they're logged in at all times, and they can comment right here on your page via Facebook. When they do that, it shows up in their Facebook timeline. So other people that know them will see, oh, this is really cool. So-and-so's reading this page, or so-and-so likes this page or commented on this page. That shows up in their timeline. They see it. We attributed 16,000 leads to this campaign right here through tracking, all through the viral components. Frank talked about during the list control launch, he did like 70 or 80,000 opt-ins. And that's a lot. That's on the high side of launches in this particular industry. We did 130-something thousand through these, which basically means I'm better than Frank Kern. No. No, but it all came as a result of stuff like this. Extra little things that get you going. So I recommend put the Facebook comments on there. You can moderate them, but it's a really good thing to have on your sites. Cart abandoned hot list. Basically two-stepping your order process. Right now, a lot of you guys, when people buy online, you're just sending them straight to an order form, right? How many of you guys are doing that? A really good strategy to do if you're not collecting the lead on the front end is when they click the buy button, you send them not straight to an order form, but to order confirmation step 1 of 2. In order confirmation step 1 or 2, they give you their email address, their first name, and their last name. When they click submit, you pre-populate the actual order form with that information, but now you have those people on a hot list. If you're doing well, the industry average, the internet average, this is just going to make some of you guys puke in your mouth, but on average, 85% of the people who go to your order page, not to your website, to your order page will leave without buying. Can you imagine if you own like a McDonald's and 85% of the people walked in and said, I'll have, nah. That's freaking weird. Like, what are these people doing? I don't understand. I don't understand why these, you go to the webpage, you click on the thing, and then you just leave. 85%, like 50% would seem high. 85% in some cases, it's a lot higher. If you got physical products and the shipping is higher, it could be in the 90s. So this allows you to capture those people and put them through their own follow-up sequence. Hey, we noticed you tried to order. We're sorry, something must have happened. And you put those folks through a follow-up sequence. This will suppress orders a little bit. Putting this extra step in there will suppress orders a little bit. But having the ability to follow up with people more than makes up for that. And again, you're doing lead generation, lead capture. This is especially good if you got affiliates promoting your stuff that don't want to send traffic through an opt-in form. First, this is a good way to still get their peoples. My favorite list building strategy of all, and still most people don't realize what the heck is going on. Is Frank Kern in the room? Good. Because I want to tell you a little secret about that. Webinar. How many of you guys do webinars and teleseminars? How many of you do them like with other people as an affiliate? Like you got a product and then another affiliate's going to do them? Okay. Do you run your teleseminars or do they run the webinars and teleseminars to their list? You run them? All right. That's what we do. So we got the webinar registration forms, and I told Frank, because we did a webinar together, and I told Frank, I said, look, man, out of the kindness of my heart, because I'm such a nice guy, I will do all the webinar setup for you. I'll run everything through mine. You don't have to worry about anything at all. Nothing. I got it taken care of, buddy. So he sent a bunch of people, registered, I don't know, 12,000 something folks to the webinar. What is a webinar registration form? It's an opt-in form. That's it. It's an opt-in form. But affiliates don't think about it the same way. Your people who are registering don't necessarily think about it the same way. But now they're on your list. If you're using GoToWebinar, you can export your webinar registrants. Did y'all know that? GoToWebinar will allow you to export your webinar registrants. You can't export them into Aweber, which I know is a very popular tool. They don't allow importing, but iContact, Infusion, all these folks, they absolutely do have them. And that is a list. Okay, that's a list that you can use in multiple ways. You can continue following up, adding them to your general broadcast list. The other thing that we do is once somebody registers for a webinar, we replay the webinars. So if you register for a webinar this week but didn't buy, guess what you're going to hear about next week? The webinar. We're just going to be like, hey, webinar's coming again. They're like, oh, crap, I thought that was the week before, but I guess not. Maybe it was this week. And you know what you're going to hear about the next week? The webinar. How about the week after? Just keep them in a follow-up loop for what they signed up for. And in GoToWebinar, it's as simple as replay this webinar. Whoa, don't drop that. You can replay the webinar, and they'll start sending out all the same emails for you. For us, we don't use GoToWebinar because they've got they get a little weird after you put about 1,000, if you put more than 1,000 people on them. So we developed our own solution for it, but we still model our webinar registration forms after GoToWebinars. In fact, the link that we send people to, it's like go.webinarmeetings.com/. We don't want it to look like they're registering for something on our page. We want it to look like a third-party registration form. You guys catching that? All right. It's big for teleseminars especially. From when we did a launch and we had a bunch of people promote a webinar during a launch, this was, I believe, in the for our currency trading, we generated 31,000 subscribers. Many of them from affiliates who said they did not want to mail to a opt-in form. Webinars are beautiful. One of our number one list building strategies of all, webinars. Remember when I talked to you guys last session about the mind maps? How mind maps are a really great giveaway. People are into that. You guys remember that? Y'all a little sleepy after lunch? Do I have to remind you again? Low self-esteem. Thanks. Hey, for the record, these guys are awesome. You guys kind of suck. I'm just kidding. My wife's sitting on that side. She's like, that's not cool. But that way I ensure I always get one clap. All right, so I was talking before about the giving away the mind maps as a part of the tool. Here's a really great way to do it. You're not going blind. There's not an issue with the resolution. That's all kind of fuzzed out. So we take a mind map, and you can just almost read those words. I mean, you think if I squint, I'm going to get some better glasses. No, crap, I still can't read. No, it's fuzzy. We fuzz the things out. You apply I think it's a Gaussian blur filter. I hate that I even know that. But you apply that to the image, have a graphic designer do it. Huge opt-in rates. Because it's that, they're just so close, Like, oh, come on. And so, but you want it. It looks, how many of you guys who've heard me talk about importing from China would like to have that flowchart? Anybody? Mom, again, thank you. 2 people, great. That was not a trial close, guys. It's okay. But no, it's very, very, very effective. Very effective when you're giving away flowchart. And in this case, we have no other words on the page. It's, free. Complete blueprint for importing from China. Just enter your name and email address below, and we'll send it to you. How to double your response without doubling your list size. This is something that I bet a lot of you guys didn't even know you could do. In Aweber and iContact and Infusion, you have to call them and ask them how you do it. But they'll all know what you're talking about. You could create email segments for your unopens. So for a given campaign, you'll send it out, and what's a good open rate? Anybody want to guess? I'm just curious what you guys normally get. How much? What's your open rate? 25% open rates? You're good. Ours aren't that good. 3 to 7. It depends on your market. 10, 15, but let's say on the high side, 25%. That means 75% of your people did not open the email. Now, why is the only reason why they would not have opened your email? Maybe they, okay, so there's 2 reasons. Dang it, I hate it when I do that. There's only ever 1 reason. 2. All right, maybe they have no idea who you are. All that aside, assuming that you have a good relationship with your list, which, I'm presuming that. I'm presuming that you've got a good relationship, that you're not just spamming the phone book. The reason that they would not have opened it is, 1, the timing, or more likely, the email subject line just didn't resonate with them. So a lot of people were like, man, we didn't get a good response from that email. Let's send another one. Write a different one with a different hook, a different angle. Maybe that'll get it. No. Open rates and click-through rates are 2 different metrics. If your open rates are low, it wasn't a message problem. It definitely wasn't a conversion problem on the sales side. It was an open rate problem, which is a function of your subject line. So what we do, every email we send, we wait, it's either 2 or 3 days, and we remail our unopens the exact same message with just a different subject line. You don't have to write new copy. Just create a new subject line, one that's a little bit different twist. We'll do that 2 times. We will get as many sales from the 2 follow-up mails to the unopens as we did from the initial email. So it's effectively a way to double your list responsiveness. And the other nice thing is you're not blowing up your entire list. You're only emailing the people that didn't open. For the people that did open, them you put into a different sequence, a different funnel. And Aweber allows you to do this. iContact allows you to do this. Infusion allows you to do this. Contact them, say, hey, how the heck do I do this? And all of them have videos set up that show you how to do that. They just don't do a good job of telling their customers that they do offer that feature. Is that pretty cool? You guys use that. That one, I didn't actually need to clap there. But that will make you a lot of money. If you do that, that will absolutely positively make you a lot of money. Another neat strategy, if you're involved in a lot of launches and you want to promote different people, maybe they're launching at the same time, one thing that we'll do is we'll mail twice for somebody for a particular launch. And then after that, we only mail the people that opened those emails for the rest of the launch process. Because launch process is going for 2 weeks. I'm not necessarily going to devote my entire list to an offer that's going to go on for 2 weeks when people aren't even opening it. You're bugging the hell out of them. They're clearly not interested for whatever reason. It's not important. They're not interested. Market to the people that are interested. If you want to hone it down even more, just promote to the people who have clicked. And all that sublisting can be done. Okay? But we found it doesn't affect our sales, but instead of mailing to 300,000 people, we're mailing to like 10,000. It also cuts down on our bills considerably. Anybody who says email is free, by the way, the $20,000 to $30,000 I send to iContact would tend to disagree every month. Email is definitely not free. It's getting more expensive. That's one of the reasons that Frank and I are, looking at direct mail like, oh, so I can put a message in somebody's hands for, 50, 60 cents? That's cheap, Right now, we're in some cases spending more than that when you factor in what's your open rates. One method that a lot of people don't think about is buying websites with lists. Buying competing websites that have email lists. You got to massage it a little bit. They don't necessarily know you. You got to kind of come up with a transitionary phase. This is something that I've done in the past and works well. It's a good way if you want to grow quickly. Flippa.com is a site where you can buy. It's a website, buy-sell brokerage thing. Flippa.com. What you want to do is you want to do a search in Flippa for the word subscribers. Because typically if somebody has a website that has a lot of subscribers, they'll put that in their title descriptor. So in this case, here's one, 1,538 subscribers and a $250 a month income. Not huge, but they're selling it for $110. So if that was relevant to your market, $100, you get another 1,500 subscribers. Not too shabby. You got to kind of wonder why on earth they'd be selling something that makes $250 a month for only $100. If I'm them, I'd just wait a month. But it's kind of like selling it twice, and you still got it. But that gets back to the whole congruency issue that we're talking about. So maybe you picked a bad example there, but there's lots of them out there that have it in given markets. Another site, cbengine.com. CB Engine. This is a directory of ClickBank products. So if your market has a lot of ClickBank products, there is a search field in there where you can, the product removal history. If you look on the left-hand side, it's kind of hard to see, but you can look for products that were removed from ClickBank. The people just kind of gave up on it. They didn't want to have their product in ClickBank anymore. Usually they've sort of given up. That's a great place to go and look. In this case, see all 122 removed products this month. If somebody's removed, they've given up. It's a great way to get not just product, but also lists. cbengine.com, the removed products list. This is a neat strategy that definitely falls in the sneaky category that some people, may not agree with, but it works really well, and it generates about a 91% opt-in rate. The way it works is if you have anything free to give away, a report, works really good for software. You go onto Twitter, you go onto the forums, you go onto stuff like that, and you just write a personal message, okay, that just says, hey guys, I have a free copy of my new SEO software that's awesome for anybody willing to give me their honest opinion about it. So you're just saying, hey, I got something free I want you to see if you'll give me your honest opinion about this. Just drop me an email and I'll shoot you a copy out instantly. So it's not go to this form to download your free copy. It's, hey, just drop me an email. Sounds very, very, very chill, very kind of relaxed. Thanks, Julian. And you have an email address. Now what you do is you take that email address and you forward it on to an Aweber. Every Aweber list has an email associated with it. Okay? So when they email this thing, it will add them to their Aweber list. Now, it's a double opt-in process. So this is not, you're not pulling the wool over anybody's eyes here. They will receive an email that looks something like this, where they got a double opt-in to be on your list. And there's a couple ways that you can play this. This example is the most aggressive way possible, and it's not actually what I would recommend. But he says, hi, my email service says that you have to give me permission to send you the software I promised you. Click the link below and it will be over to you in a second. And then there's the confirmation email and it tells them that they're going to be added to the list. So another way that you can play it, so I'll admit, that's pretty aggressive. That's telling people, because they're clicking the link thinking that all they're getting is the software and in fact you're also adding them to a list. What I would do is say, click the link and you'll get the software plus I'll add you to my whatever list. Then it's 100% above board, and at that point, people can make a decision, is it worth being added to this guy's list to get the software, yes or no? So do you have a question? Are you sending that to your list asking them to respond? Or are you I wouldn't send this to my list asking them to respond because I already have them on a list. This is good for going out to, it's good for going out saying things like in YouTube videos, anything that could go viral. Hey, I got something cool that I want to share with you guys. Just send me an email at Craigslist. Craigslist is a big opportunity if you're in certain businesses. Forums, certainly. You go to forums and say, hey, I got this cool thing. You got to be careful with it. You want to make sure you got a reputation. Twitter, Facebook, all the places, especially in social media, where it's inappropriate to say, hey, I got something cool for you guys. Go to this website to opt in. If you tell people, send me an email, nobody really thinks, hey, that's weird. So it's a good little kind of guerrilla strategy. Blog comments, mobile ads, postcards. We did this in classified ads. Great way to get basically 100% opt-in rate for classified ads. Instead of, a lot of people say, in the classified ad, go to this website to get it for free. Send me an email at. They don't have to opt in. Kind of just cuts down on that step. Does that make sense? Y'all catch that? All right. Yep. Will it work with Infusion? I don't know if Infusion will assign you an email address that when somebody sends an email to that address to where it auto subscribes them. I know it works with Aweber. I know it'll work with GetResponse. I don't know about those. You can ask them. There's probably a way to do it. This is one of my favorite new strategies. If y'all haven't heard about this, it's going to really blow your mind. It's great from a social media standpoint. Flowtown. Flowtown.com. What Flowtown will allow you to do is to upload your subscribers. So this isn't so much a list building tool as it is a list exposure tool. So with Flowtown, you upload your subscribers into Flowtown, and it gives you where they are. I did it with me, and it said how you can contact me, where I am on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. These are all mine. If people have more social media profiles, it'll list out all their different social media profiles. And then I don't even know what the heck that last one is. I have no idea what that is, but apparently I signed up for it. So it's got stuff that I didn't even know I signed up for, because all these things are driven by email addresses. So what it will do then is it will go out there and automatically follow people on Twitter. It'll go out there and automatically try to friend them on Facebook. You guys seeing how this works? So there's a lot of people that you have as an email. That you have their email and you email with them, and that's great. But what if in addition to getting emails from you, they're also hearing from you on Twitter, and they're seeing you're showing up in their Facebook channel. So now everywhere they turn, they see you. What's that going to do to your brand? What's that going to do to how they perceive you in terms of being an expert? I mean, you're going to be their person. I mean, this is like when Dan talked earlier today about building that iron cage around your people. This builds an iron cage around them. They'll never stop seeing you. You'll be everywhere, and your competitors won't do this. And Flowtown just automates the entire process and does just like a really, really, really good job. Yep. No. So the question was, can you? Yeah, I know. I think that's called spam, though. I'll just say no. Yeah, no. So can you basically do the reverse of it? And no, you cannot do the reverse of it. Are there any questions about any? That's what I got from a sneaky tricks thing. We got some time for questions. You guys got any questions? Go ahead and come on up to the microphone if you got questions. And can we please? I apologize to the folks over here. Well, no, you can use whatever microphone you want.
So Ryan, question for you.
Yes, sir.
Regarding the webinars. So
okay.
You do a webinar on your hosted service or go to webinar and you import the list. The question has to do with some people don't adopt to that as easily as others. Could be all kinds of reasons. One of the question I have is, do you send more emails to that group? I hear guys that send 2 emails a day to their newly adopted lists. Does that reduce the spam ratios or something like? Is there some direct connection with that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, I can tell you from a spam perspective and making sure you stay off the spam list and don't get a lot of spam complaints.
Exactly.
It's actually better to send more emails than less. When somebody brings hey, I've got a list of 30,000, and they're fresh, I never mail them. They hate to hear that.
Right.
Like, no, they'd much rather you be mailing them on a daily basis and have a relationship with them. In terms of the 1 a day versus 2 a day, that's a function of, of your offer and your market. I mean, I know John Allness does 2 a day and has for a long time, but he's telling guys how to pick up women. They never tire of that stuff.
Right. Okay. So you would say, one of the goals is obviously get people responsive to you and purge people who don't want to respond.
Yeah, one thing that we do, if we will send an email out every, we'll send an email out about every 90 days for people who haven't opened an email from us in 90 days and say, hey, you haven't opened emails from us in 90 days. Please click on this link just to show us you're alive. And if you don't, no worries. We'll just assume you're not interested and take you off our list. That reactivates a lot of people, and we follow up with them. We don't actually remove them from our list. We just put them on a secondary list that we don't mail certain offers to and things like that.
Okay, great.
So,
hey, thanks.
And I'll do, for the sake of time, I'll do these 6 questions, and then we got to close up. Yes?
Hey, Ryan, just like you just did, you mentioned things about basing campaigns on open rate, on only mailing to people that opened. But the open rates are not necessarily accurate of who read the emails.
The open rates aren't accurate in that they're going to be low.
Right. I mean, if someone read it on a PDA or didn't,
right, if they didn't
the
activate their cookies and stuff like that. No, you're right, but it's better. They're pretty accurate. It's better than nothing, and I wouldn't do it with my own internal promotions. With my own internal promotions, we're gonna mail them, because that's an internal promotion. But it's more when you're trying to jockey. Hey, 15 guys are promoting stuff at the same time. How do I not pummel all these people? Yes, sir.
Hi, Ryan. You mentioned, and Frank as well, about direct mail.
Yep.
What strategies are you employing to get direct mail mailing addresses from your email list?
Direct mail mailing address from the email list?
Correct.
We've got a lot of buyers that we never direct mailed. So that hasn't been an issue with us. What we will do, though, which is a strategy that I saw from Ron LeGrand, which I don't know if Ron's in the room, I still is one of the most genius strategies I've ever seen. You send an email out to people saying, call up to get this free CD, and he puts people on the phone off of the deal, and if they don't take that, what I would do is say, okay, to get your free CD, can I get your name and your name and address so we know where to send it? And then I would go and try to sell them, but you capture that record first.
So basically another ethical bribe.
Yeah, and I know, just having really good, compelling offers, low-ticket stuff, get them to buy a $7 ebook. Get them to buy something so you got that credit card information, and it's good. It's a good record, good and accurate. Another thing that you can do, if you really want to be kind of sneaky, is you can go and you could say, I've got this free CD, no credit card required. And so people go, it's like, just fill out the information so we know where to send your CD. And on the thank you page, it's, thanks so much. To help us with shipping, please just mail in a self-addressed padded envelope of this size, postage included of this amount, and we'll ship you out your free CD. Or if you want, you can just pay for shipping and handling here, and we'll get it out to you, or you can just listen to the free download there. But that's a good way to capture the record without having the credit card information. Is that a little sneaky? All right. You got to, all this stuff, you guys got to kind of decide where to draw the lines on that one.
Well, and I'm really impressed. What do you do to learn all this stuff?
Well, thank you, by the way, for the fantastic leading question.
Yeah.
No, man, we do it. We're in a lot of different markets, and I got really, really smart people around me that come up with fantastic ideas that I get to take credit for. That's really, at the end of the day, what it comes down to.
That's it.
Everything that you've seen in this section, maybe like one or two of them were my ideas. So I've just, I got an office full of 30-something people that occasionally, when they're not screwing up stuff, come up with a good idea. And I take credit for the good ideas, and I publicly bash them when they mess stuff up. That's kind of my MO. No, I really do have fantastic people.
Thanks.
And being in a lot of different markets helps. Because it's funny, stuff that works so well in some markets, you try another one, you're like, well, that sucked. So,
Cool.
That's how that works. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm curious. You say we've got an 85% fallout rate on a sales page. Have you ever tried following up with a PDF sales page and putting a buy now link right in the PDF?
A PDF sales page and putting a buy now?
Yeah, throwing it in an email.
I haven't done that, but what we have done for the webinar registrants who didn't buy, and this is a pretty good idea, for the webinar registrants who didn't buy, we send them out, we'll do a recording, but then we'll also follow up with a transcript of the webinar. What's the transcript of the webinar? It's a sales letter, So, and that works really, really well. It's good to take people out of the different modalities. If you initially tried to sell to them via video and they didn't do it, follow up with text. Follow up with audio. People buy and consume in different ways.
I was just wondering if the PDF would work better on an open rate than just text in the email.
Frank tested, email. He did it, I think, in August, something like that. Sending out a thing, hey, go download this free report, and the report was good content, but that was also a sales letter. And it was just no opt-in required, just download the report. And he said the conversions sucked.
Thank you.
That's one test. I didn't try it, but I think the reason that they sucked was because, it requires consumption. I don't even think most people know how to read anymore. All right, last two questions.
Ryan, thanks a lot for a great presentation. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Two questions. One is super quick. I'm in the dating and relationship space. Can you tell us your URL or what a place to follow you in that space? I missed it earlier when you mentioned it.
It is sageadvice.com, I think. It was launched while I was in China. I don't remember.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a continuation of one that we had before that didn't work out. I think it's sageadvice.com.
Track it down. Thanks.
There you go.
So my real question is...
but that's more, that one, it's dating and relationships, but it's targeted to women.
Likewise.
Just to clarify, it's not Eben's stuff. I couldn't tell anybody. I'm not even going to go there, never mind. My wife would have killed me if I would have finished that sentence.
Okay, so we have an email. It's short.
Remember.
No, I said two questions. One was quick. And the second one's so important, I'm going to knock over the knife. So we have an email. It's short. They click. Mm-hmm. Great. We can track click rates. They go to a blog post. And let's say I have 100 blog posts, but I don't necessarily want them to see them all there because I want to be emailing them one at a time.
Yep.
I could do a membership site, and when they opt in, put them in a basic free membership. They wouldn't even know it.
Yep.
Control it. Any other ideas for controlling the visibility of specific things without getting into,
Yeah, there's a plugin that you can get, and I can't remember the name of it, so this is going to be like, oh, that's awesome, but it doesn't help me at all. There's a really cool plugin, and if you go to fool.com,
Full, F-U-L-L?
F-O-L-L,
Okay.
F-O-O-L, fool.com,
Yeah.
it's Motley Fool, it's an investing site. Try to read more than 3 of their articles. It'll pop up a thing that says, hey, if you want to read more, you need to subscribe. And you can leave and clear your cookies, stuff like that. And there is a WordPress plugin that will do that.
Okay.
That will restrict it, and I just cannot remember what it was called.
Cool.
Sorry, but
That's okay.
if you go to a forum somewhere and say, hey, where can I get a plugin that does this? Or, people lead you in the right direction.
Yeah.
Google's is pretty cool with giving stuff like that. So.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, just want to compliment you on a brilliant presentation.
Thanks.
The pop-up dominator, if you're using WordPress and you have the CSS sheets, do you go to the HTML, do you modify CSS, or is it more something you do in Adobe to use that particular application, or is there a plugin that you would use in WordPress that would perform the same function?
That's the one we use, man. I don't know what all we got to tweak to have it.
It's a plugin?
It is, yeah, pop-up domination is
So
a
it'll work in
plugin.
WordPress?
WordPress
So work in-
plugin.
Okay, that was my
Yeah.
question. Thank you.
It's pretty easy. Pretty good stuff. If you guys will give me just a little bit more, I'll be fully transparent. I want to make you guys an offer. And some of you guys knew this because you came up on the break and asked me about it. But before I do that, I want to tell you why. Because I've sat where you guys are sitting, and I want to, and I've thought to myself, if this person's so smart, if this person's so good, if they're so, then why are they selling what they do? Why don't they just do it, right? Have any of you guys thought that over the course of this week or any other time you've been there? If they're so good, why don't they just do it? Why do they have to sell it? And another phrase that is somewhat common is, those who can do, those who can't teach. I want to tell you right now, I hate that expression. And I hate it for a couple of reasons. Number one, my mom and wife were teachers, and I think it's insulting. I also think it's scarcity-minded because I believe that to say that the two are mutually exclusive is ridiculous. I lose nothing by telling you guys the stuff that's working for me. If anything, I gain some joint venture partners and stuff like that. But there's another concept and another reason why I actually sell the information, and you asked, the gentleman who asked before how we come up with this stuff. And it has to do with the principle that actually was in the book Rework, which is a fantastic book, that's known as Sell Your Byproducts. And a good friend of mine has a buddy in Kentucky. And this guy in Kentucky was just a Kentucky hillbilly, but he happened to have a friend who was a candle manufacturer, and he had another friend who owned a sawmill. Well, in the candle manufacturing process, they create a thing called slack wax. I think that's what it's called. Which is basically, it's worthless wax. It's a part of the processing thing. They can't actually make candles from it. It's a little bit funky. And they, at one time, had to actually pay to get rid of it. Slack wax. In the sawmill thing, they hate sawdust. It's everywhere. And it accumulates. And they would literally pay to have companies come and haul off their sawdust. Well, this guy got a bright idea. And this is just the most genius thing in the world, and how you even make this connection is a genius that I don't possess. But he said, you know what I could do with sawdust? I could combine sawdust with the slack wax, and I could make something that would be kind of cool. He made these things. Do y'all know what that is? Anybody? It's a fire log starter. Fire log starter. You seen those? Fire log. You put them in the logs, you light them, they go. I mean, wax burns, so does sawdust. He combined the thing, had a big hopper, dumped sawdust in this end, melted the slack wax, dumped it in this end, came through an extruder where a knife on the end just went, bundled up, sold them off to dollar stores. Because Duraflame and these other people were just buying, so he was getting all of his raw materials for free. Now, a lot of these guys have gotten wise to it, and it's not even a new concept. The guys who wrote the book Rework told another story that was somewhat interesting and also involved wood cast-offs. do you guys know who founded Kingsford Charcoal? Have y'all heard of Kingsford Charcoal? You know, y'all know where Kingsford Charcoal, who founded it? Henry Ford. Henry Ford founded Kingsford Charcoal because he had all these basically chunks of wood that he realized he could turn into charcoal briquettes. It was originally called just Ford Charcoal. Ford Charcoal. They added the Kingsford later on. So a concept that I want you guys to understand, because I think it's important for information marketers, is the concept of selling your byproducts. And for me, when we're out doing these different businesses, we accumulate a vast quantity of knowledge. We got great data, and I like to share it, but I also like to package it as information products. As all of you, look, I mean, the reason I don't mind being transparent about this is a room full of freaking information marketers. Most of you are in here because you were really good at what you did. You provided a service, you did something well, and now you're looking around going, you know what, I bet there's other people who would be interested in knowing what I did. The fact that you want to go sell it does not invalidate you, it validates you. And if you then use the sales from that to benefit your other businesses, all the better. We're bringing in a butt ton of containers. They cost $20,000 to $40,000 each from China. Believe me, rather than dipping into my own pockets, what I would rather do is sell my byproducts, which in our business, our byproducts are our test data, our knowledge, our systems, our processes, all the things that we create just as a byproduct of doing business. It makes sense for us to then sell to fund our other businesses. So I'm happy to say that we make more money doing this than teaching it, but I'm also not ashamed to say that we make good money teaching it because it's a byproduct. And just like today, if you go to a sawmill and you say, hey, I'll take all that pesky sawdust off your hands for free, they'll say, screw you, it's worth money, we know that, how much you want to give us for it? They've gotten wise to it. And if you're in this room, it's because you've gotten wise as well to the power of that knowledge and information. But I think it's important from a positioning standpoint so that you guys do take that very, very seriously. Thanks so much, guys. If you got questions, I'll talk to you back there.